Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for One Piece chapter 1065. When we last left our heroes, the fight between the Heart Pirates and the Blackbeards continued. We didn't quite reach a conclusion there, but Law got some good hits in, as did Shachi and Penguin from under the water. We found out that all the Blackbeard's officers now have devil fruits, and that Pudding is currently being held captive by the Blackbeards. So, and for the first time, tying together our cover story and our main story while the cover story is still going on. But back with the Straw Hats, we learn a little bit more about Kuma from Bonnie. We learn that he was, the story that Jinbe believes, at least, that he was a tyrant king who somehow became a revolutionary and then became a warlord by allowing Vegapunk to experiment on his body. Bonnie disagrees with large parts of it, especially the tyrant bit. But we don't get much more details on that. And then we're back with the Sunny crew, who have made it to another part of Egghead with Lilith. And everyone except Zoro and Brook kind of goes to explore the island with Lilith. And then we see a bit of a phone call where Vegapunk reveals that they believe they'll be dead soon to none other but Dragon. So I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know if we're going to get Dragon relevant again anytime soon. But yeah, with that all said, let's dive right on into chapter 1065. We have this 2-page spread that's all about advertising Film Red. I have not seen Film Red, so I can't really comment on it. Though we also have Gear 5 Luffy. Does Luffy go Gear 5 in Film Red? Cause like, way to spoil it for the anime folks, I guess. But anyway, chapter 1065, 6 Vegapunks. Future Island Egghead Lava Phase. And the Lava Phase is the part where the Sunny crew is, and then the something other of phase is where Luffy and the gang are. But we're still on the Sunny. Not with the crew who left, we're with Zoro and Brook. It's a government island. Who's gonna break them out if they get captured? And Brook agrees, yo-ho-ho, that was my thought as well. Care for some tea? And Caribou shows up. I thought that Caribou was still in hiding here. Because he calls them gentlemen. And Zoro looks at him, you're still here? Because last you saw him, he was hiding in a barrel, I thought, right? So why did all of a sudden the gang knows that Caribou is with them? Did I miss something, or is that one of those, we'll get this expanded on in the anime bits, that, like, really shouldn't be? But Caribou goes on, now hold on just a sec, fellas. I know I said I'd take a ride to anywhere as long as I got off Wano, but not here. This is a government island. And Zoro's at least, like, polite to him. You helped our captain in Wano. Thanks. Get off now. That's as far as it goes, as Caribou rages. You'll pay for this! Mark my words! So yeah, I guess we're sort of leaving Caribou at that. Again, I don't know when they learned that Caribou was on the ship, but okay. We cut to at the lab, as the rest of the Sunny crew is going up the big steps, might be an escalator, towards the lab proper. Wow, it is an escalator. It's their first time seeing an escalator. As Usopp, like, raves, the stairs are moving! And Nami does not normally go for the tech, but she is here. The staircase is growing out of the ground. And Frankie questions, how does it work? What's powering it? Lilith tells them all, this island's power source is fire. Fire can be converted into all types of energy. And I think this is Frankie's line. Are there lots of natural resources here? I've long researched what can be burned for energy. I thought, if only there was such a thing as an undying flame, we could create our own sun. And she doesn't really elaborate as Frankie reacts, sun? And she slams into the wall. What? You walked into the wall. But she gets a call now. Lilith. And she sort of like rubs her injury. Ow! Hey, open up. Lilith, sweetie. Oh, okay. Hold on. She walked through the wall. She just goes right in. I misread what was going on there. So she walks in, and the rest of the crew are still on the far side of the wall. That's Sanji calling Lilith sweetie, and Lilith, like, mocks them. What are you doing? Walk through, ignore your eyes. And then we see whoever it is on the other side, like, isn't quite, is aware that he's not part of the conversation here. And Lilith turns back to the conversation. What is it, Edison? And Sanji, walks through. As does Robin. We pass through. But how? And I think that's Usopp who turns back to, like, try to move through the door. What the? Now that we pass through, it's a metal door. How does that work? Which, yeah, more of that future tech. Just, like, some of it is, like, future tech that we just have in real life, but some of it is just some real, like, sci-fi shit here. And Frankie looks around. So this is the lab, huh? And Sanji is just, the fair Lilith has vanished. Where are you? And Lilith calls to them, just keep walking forward. Huh? Who said that? Oh no, it's not Lilith, it's Edison. I'm Vegapunk Edison. Glad you came. Keep going straight, like I told you. And I'm assuming this is Edison approaching, and so, but before we see whose feet those are, Nami is just going full on money mode. Time to look for the treasure of the future. And Usopp questions, what kind of treasure is that? Like flowers made of jewels. I don't get it. Are you a dreaming girl or a greedy old hag? Their dynamic is always fun. I always love their vibe. And Nami treats him with a future kick. Ugh. But Sanji, Robin, and Jinbe, and Robin and Frankie stop in their tracks. Huh? Whoa, what? And it's the Jinbe Seraphim. With the darker skin, the Lunarian wings, but they don't quite realize that. As Frankie calls out Jinbe, but Robin pushes back. But doesn't he seem a little young? I don't think it's him. And Usopp goes on. Possibility 1, it's Jinbe's son. And Nami thinks, possibility 2, Jinbe got turned into a child? Which is technically true. Wasn't it Jinbe that got turned into a child? Or I know, Luffy is an old man, or was an old man. But yeah, Jinbe was turned into a child. So like, Jinbe did get turned into a child, but that's not what's going on here. And Sanji gives the other possibility. Possibility 3 is just a lookalike. I mean, he's got wings and he seems off in general. Which is right. It is just a lookalike, though they don't quite realize, what that lookalike is about. But they call out to him, hey, who are you? And the Jinbe Seraphim stands up, his wings start to, like, flame, and Frankie notes he looks like a kid, but he's as big as Jinbe. I got a bad feeling about this. Possibility 4, it's a pacifista, which is also possibility 3. They're the same thing. But yeah, it is a pacifista, and the Jinbe Seraphim starts to, like, fire its laser. And the explosion knocks the straw hats off their feet. Ah! And Usopp gets back up after falling. It was a setup. I knew the government wouldn't greet us with open arms. And Nami readies her climb attack, meaning, is a clone soldier of Jinbe? Just because you're a child does mean I'll go easy on you. Is that a typo, or is that, like, cutting into Nami's whole, protection of children thing? But Jinbe, or the Seraphim, looks at her, beeps, and then digs into the ground. Oh, and a familiar, is that Senor Pink's move? Because I see Frankie's next line. But that shocks Nami. Huh? And Usopp's, he has powers? What does it mean? And Zeus calls out from the climb attack. We fighting, Nami? Wait, Zeus. And Frankie tells them all, hang on. I know that power. And the Seraphim jumps up from the ground, grabs Nami. Eek! Nami! And Nami calls out to the Seraphim, Jim. And the Seraphim, like, pops a blood vessel there. And Sanji comes roaring in. It's death for you. Even if you are Jinbe. And he used the what's the advanced version of Diable Jinbe that came up during his fight with Queen? I forget what that was called, but it's that move. I imagine it might be the more normal move, given this is like a sudden attack and not like a big fight. But the Seraphim goes rolling thanks to Sanji's kick. Robin readies her Gigante Floor. Same as him. I won't let you get away with that. Sea Serpent Snapdragon. And all these, she has like the giant body behind her, and then all these, arms come pounding into the Seraphim. Spank! But then he uses that power again. The devil, what was Senor Pink's devil fruit? I'm gonna look that up real quick. Not go onto the page for the article itself, for the fruit itself, for like spoiler reasons. But it's the swim fruit is what it is. It comes popping out, and so, he goes to the ground again, comes popping out, readying, he has the water in his hand. As Usopp readies a slingshot, he even uses Fishman Karate? Look out, Robin! Special attack, Green Star, Skull Blast Grass! And he shoots the thing at the Seraphim. We see a little, skull emerges from the plant. Even knowing it's not Jinbe, I don't feel great about this. But the Seraphim is gone. Huh? He's gone? Ah! And he emerges from, the wall behind Usopp and, gets him into a chokehold. Sanji calls, Usopp! And Frankie readies his own move. I got this one, Sanji. Usopp, don't move! Radical? And someone calls on the intercom, dodge that S-Shark! Which might be, Seraphim Shark. It's the Jinbe Seraphim's code name. Beam! Whoa! And we see, here is Edison, in, a control room. A little robot thing. He just shot a laser. Who is that guy? That was a close one. Little Edison, wipes their forehead. Dr. Vegapunk, Edison the Thinker. The Seraphim are still children. They're not ready for laser test yet. Well, maybe don't have them try to kill the Straw Hats, and they won't get a laser. And Lilith, I don't know why I struggle so hard to say Lilith. Lilith is also in the room with Edison. You can say that again. Do you have any idea how much a single Seraphim costs? I ought to twist your heads off. And Edison goes in, so evil. And Lilith pushes back. I wasn't going to go that far. And Edison gets an idea. Eureka! I just thought of a new invention. We don't know what that's going to be about, but okay. You wrap this up, Pythagoras. I gotta go draw up plans. Of course. Dr. Vegapunk, Pythagoras the Wise. We see them, they're another robot. This one a lot bigger. Or they're all robots, but much more sort of mechanical in their appearance. As opposed to Lilith or Atlas was the one that Luffy and the gang met. Or even what we've seen of Shaka isn't quite this this made of classical robot design. I gotta go draw up plans. So busy. Come, I need your help, assist Tabby. And I guess Edison has this little assistant cat that follows after them. Pythagoras notes, of course, you don't get fascinating battle data like this every day. This is a once-in-a-lifetime input. And we see Edison just going at it with some new plans. The ideas just keep flowing. You gotta do the eating for me, York. And we see York, the last of the Vegapunks, and she's just sorta eating. Okay, yummy. And I guess her job is to eat for Vegapunk. I guess. For all 6 of her bodies, I suppose. More for York. Current BMI over 600. Alright. But Pythagoras is still going. The Seraphim's attack patterns evolve as they grow. Does that mean that bloodline elements record an individual's experiences? A possible approach to the issues caused by the growth acceleration. Pulse BPM of 90. More green blood. And Pythagoras, their head, pops out of the rest of their body. I need to use the bathroom, but I can't waste the time. And so York, I guess, all of their bodies are connected, because we cut to a toilet as York walks out of it. Also, all of a sudden, lost all of the weight. Okay. Alright. And both Edison and Pythagoras note, much better. And we see Atlas, digestion punch! Which I guess helps somehow. And York falls over, sleepy, and like is passed out. That's York's 4th EPS cycle of the day. York the greedy. Is that what? Eat, piss, sleep, or something? I don't know. But it feels like a Vegapunk move. Like, I can see who the kind of person Vegapunk is now, having all of her different, like, her spare bodies do different things for her. Also, I'm making an assumption here, given that every human-like body we've seen of Vegapunk has been distinctly feminine, that Vegapunk is a woman. It was a little bit unclear as we found out that Lilith wasn't quite the original Vegapunk. But that's the guess I'm making. But anyway, some of, like, the more minor bots in York's room take all the data to Pythagoras, prep Edison's experiment to the 88th simulation room. And then someone new appears. That's enough, Seraphim. Enough. Back in the fight with Seraphim Jinbe. Return. And everyone is, like, all the Straw Hats are all frozen. Huh? I can't move. And this does appear to be Shaka. Edison, Lilith, Pythagoras, I trust you're all satisfied now. And Pythagoras just notes, oh, that's too bad. And Lilith gets angry. What does he think he's doing? He's ruining the best part. So Shaka is male then. Okay. I don't know. I may be looking too deep into pronoun use for the Vegapunk bodies, but I am curious about it. As Edison makes a Eureka! And Shaka the Good turns to the Straw Hats. I am Dr. Vegapunk. Shaka. You must be the Straw Hat crew. And Sanji yells at him, accurate, but why can't I pull these shoes off the floor? Dom's shoes are under the control of the laboratory's magnetic field at all times. Ah, I see. It's not his powers to freeze them like I assumed. He just sort of magnetized their shoes. Anyway, Robin tells him resistance is futile, I take it. And Shaka tells them all, I cannot trust any pirates. And Usopp questions, we also met a woman Vegapunk and heard an announcer Vegapunk. Yes, I am also Vegapunk. And Usopp just thinks, am I Vegapunk? And Frankie just yells, no! Does this island look like the future to you? And they all turn back to Shaka. The future? This is Frankie. Between the Mecha Sea Beast outside, the Vega Force 1, and the island's air systems, this place is the super future. And Nami also agrees, and I've never seen a town that looks anything like this one. And Frankie, being Frankie, is just gushing. I want to wander around and see everything, to learn what kind of tech you're packing. We don't gotta be enemies. Come on, Vega. And Vegapunk tells them, this place is the past. Oh, is this gonna be Void Sentry related? Because that shocks Frankie with a huh? And like my thought there is that sorry, let me gather my words for a bit before I say this. Because even Frankie, who would be very, very knowledgeable about technology, the history of technology, and Robin being very knowledgeable about history in general, the fact that none of them recognize this as being from the past makes me think this technology all comes from the Void Sentry, which might tie into why the world government wants to get rid of Vegapunk so bad. And then we cut to Luffy, back with Luffy and Chopper. Check it out, Chopper. This one ain't a hollow. It's real, solid metal. Whoa. And Bonnie, whatever they see, comments, "What is it? Did it used to move?" And Jinbe notes, if it does, it's future tech. But it looks too old for that. Yeah, I think we're about to get to the Void Sentry. As Frankie questions, what do you mean the past? If I told you that Egghead wasn't the only one, that there was once a kingdom just as highly advanced as this, that actually existed 900 years ago, would you believe me? 900 years ago? And we end with Chopper and Luffy being all gung-ho to explore this giant, metal robot. I want to ride it. Let's go! To be continued. So I know, one note is that I know 800 years ago is the mark normally given for the Void Century. Is that when the Void Century started or when it ended? I'm gonna do a quick little wiki search on the Void Century. Let me see. 800 to 900 years before. So 800 years ago is when it ended. So yeah, a place like this existed up until the Void Century. And given that ruins from 900 years ago are still here, means that Egghead is kind of one of the few places in the world that has, like, relics from the Void Century. So, final saga stuff. Time to dig into the Void Century after all these many years. Yeah, that's the exciting part. And then there's some more interesting things here, like the fact that the Jinbe Seraphim has the swim fruit. Did Senor Pink die? Or does Vegapunk have an even, like, more advanced artificial devil fruit system than the Smile, than Caesar and Kaido and Dofi had? I don't know. Because, I mean, I don't know. Well, I suppose if inanimate objects can eat devil fruits, we've seen that before with a number of things. I suppose that means that, like, the Seraphims, of course, would be able to as well. So my guess is that Pink is dead. My guess is that at some point, let me go back to the Pink wiki page and see, like, what was the last thing we saw of him. Because I assume it was, like, getting arrested or something. Yeah, after Doflamingo's defeat, Senor Pink and his fellow officers were arrested by the Marines. So, like, he might have been executed. Or we know that, like, eating can pass on devil fruits. We learned that with Big Mom. So maybe the Jinbe Seraphim ate Senor Pink? Is that a possibility? I don't know, but the fact that Frankie explicitly calls out that he knows that power confirms, given that Frankie was the one who fought Senor Pink, that is the swim fruit. And so what that means is, not the biggest thing in this chapter, given that it reveals that, like, the Void Century is involved in Egghead, but it still is an interesting note. We'll see what exactly is going on with that later. But yeah, the big thing is we meet the other Vegapunks, Edison and Pythagoras and York, and the Void Century. And given Vegapunk's assertion that he's dying soon, I assume that's tied in with the Void, like the fact that the Marines have decided it's time to get rid of, or the world government has decided it's time to get rid of Vegapunk, has to be due to the Void Century. That's my best guess. Like, now that the Void Century is in play, it's not just, Vegapunk has too much power, take the Seraphims and betray him. He has too much knowledge. He knows about the Void Century. Or at least he knows parts of it. He might not know the whole thing. And I would rather, when we learn the truth of the Void Century, I would rather it be due to, like, Robin's archaeological skills that we learn all that, rather than Vegapunk just showing up and monologuing about it. So I hope we're not moving into a Void Century flashback right now. My hope is that Vegapunk is aware Egghead is tied to the Void Century, but he doesn't quite know what happened in the Void Century. Not even Vegapunk knows. But yeah, so that's the stuff to, like, look at going forward as this arc moves on. But the chapter itself is also just fun. Like, the fight with the Jinbe Seraphim gives everyone some fun stuff to do. Nami gets a couple good attacks in, or actually Nami doesn't. That's the only disappointment, is that Nami doesn't really get a hit in. But Sanji does. Robin gets a good hit. As do Usopp and Frankie. It's a fun little bit. A nice little, just not like a big tense fight, but a quick little showcase of everyone, working together, given how little we've gotten to really see them fight together, given all of the chaos going on in Wano. It's just nice, along with meeting the other Vegapunks, and then, again, that big Void Century reveal that I just can't wait to see what Oda is doing with the Void Century, because I can't, it still just boggles my mind, both that, like, we're at the final saga of One Piece, and also that, like, we might be getting Void Century information in this arc. That's wild to me, and I can't wait to see how that plays out. So with that said, I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you'll enjoy the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, do whatever makes it happy, And as always, your life is your own, okay? Bye!